the stock market is collapsing. Is it time to start cleaning all the guns you've been stockpiling since 2020? Is it time to grease all the fittings on the tanks and the armored vehicles? No, I don't think so. So, I'm Nate. I'm the FitfutureMD. I'm the owner of Ensorsale.com. Make sure you go pick up a cool inspirational t-shirt today. Use code FitfutureMD for 20% off. So, basically what's going on is the Bank of Japan has decided to start raising interest rates, right? And they've been at a 0% interest rate policy for over 10 years, right? Even before COVID, right? They were at a 0% interest rate policy. And we're talking about a quarter basis point, right? So basically what happens in Japan is people, borrow money at 0% interest or very cheap, right? Just say 2% interest. And they're going and buying risky assets with it, right? And basically this basis point hike is gonna cost them millions of dollars, billions of dollars, trillions of dollars probably, based on the money they borrowed. But that's been able to allow their economy not to crash, right? By having it at 0% interest for so long. Very similar to what America did, for the Great Recession in 2008. They dropped interest rates, right? But everyone's been complaining about inflation. Well, what's the only way really to stop inflation? What's the only way to really stop inflation? And that's to have some sort of deflationary event, right? And that's kind of what's going on right now, is a deflationary event, right? So, Robinhood has 24-hour trading. I'm pretty sure all these stock market companies have 24-hour trading now. But basically the big boys, Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, all these companies that have had a big run up during this inflationary event, the past 4 years, basically they're all having a little pullback, right? And when you have those big, huge companies like that have a pullback, it looks like the whole economy is crashing because they were the ones basically holding the economy up, And, honestly, all the other companies had already kind of faltered, right? Like the top 7 were basically holding the S&P 500 up the whole time, right? So, but basically there's a lot of fear mongering out there, right? Even the big crash of 2008, the United States still recovered. Now, it will depend on what policy comes out from the government if we do have some sort of big time correction. Now, a correction of up to 30% in the stock market is very, very normal, right? And you should not see any kind of government intervention on the 30%. When you start seeing 50%, 60%, 70%, that's when the government says, oh no, we're going to be overthrown as a government, and they start doing things that are stupid that affect you long term. But all this is basically market manipulation. They manipulated the housing market in the 2000s, made it crash, caused the recession of 2008. And they've basically done the same thing this time. They printed $7 trillion, inflated the economy like crazy. And, the rich people are basically saying, okay, we're at the top, so we're going to sell off and have cash, right? So you've seen that with Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. They're up to $277 billion in cash, right? So they literally can buy every NFL team, all of Major League Baseball, and still get a few other teams as well, right? Just so you know how big $277 billion is. It's bigger than most companies in the S&P 500. Like most companies in the S&P 500 are not even worth that, right? So keep that in mind. This man's got a huge cash reserve, and Warren Buffett does. So he is prepared himself to buy up assets when the market crashes, right? When and if the market crashes. So, but the biggest question is, you're a regular person, you have a 401k, you have a retirement pension plan, what do you do? Well, man, I saw a crazy post about how you should leverage it all, right? Borrow against your pension, borrow against your 401k, get all the money out of your HELOC, and just wait for the crash. And, then you're going to use that money to buy up assets basically during the crash. And that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm not going to go into debt to buy up assets. Just not. Right? Now, that being said, if you're a person that's paycheck to paycheck, you might be doing some crazy stuff like that because you don't have any reserves, right? So say in a market correction, say we go up to 10% unemployment, 12% unemployment, that's considered a lot, right? If you go into a market crash, then you could start talking about 15% unemployment. And if it gets bigger than that, you're talking about anarchy, right? So, keep that in mind. But it's really what jobs replace the jobs that you lost, right? And that's what has basically hurt the American economy, after the Great Recession, right? You lost all these big time jobs overseas and they never came back, and they were replaced by retail, right? $7.25, $10 an hour, $15 an hour, $20 an hour jobs, when these jobs that we lost are $100 an hour jobs, right? Because let me tell you, there's places in the world where, they make $5 an hour, they're ecstatic, right? And they'll sit there and work 80 hours a week. They don't have unions, all kinds of stuff, right? And the only reason it would be competitive is speed, right? You get it faster. So keep that in mind if you're making a business or whatever. How you compete is speed, right? The only reason that they're still manufacturing in America is because of speed, right? I need something this week, made this week, to sell at an event, on Saturday. I can't go to China and get it, right? It's not going to happen. But I could go to the local screen printer and say, hey, I need 5,000 shirts on Saturday, and I'll give you, $7 a piece for them instead of the normal $3, and you'll get your shirts, right? So just keep that in mind. So the biggest thing is that they're going to be fear-mongering you, make you worried about your pension, make you worried about your 401k, all that kind of stuff. Like, that stuff is what's called long-term investing, right? The reason you don't worry about it is because that's long-term investing, right? So, say you have 10 years to retirement, which, we're trying to get there in 3. So doing a little bit different, but most people are going to retire at 65, right? So do you even care if the market goes down? Absolutely not, because now everything you're investing is on sale, right? Now for me, I have a pension at work. I have a 401k at work, and I let them do their thing. And that's technically 18% of what I make invested, right? And then I do another, and I do more on my own, right? but I have long-term, medium-term, short-term investments, right? I'm not saying this is not financial advice. This is just what I do, right? There's literally things that I'm trading on a daily basis or every other day, right? So there was no reason not to take advantage of Tesla going from 150 or 169, whatever it was, to 260. Like, there was no reason not to take advantage of that, right? There's no reason of not taking advantage of Nvidia going from, well, it was in like the 800s at the time, but it literally went from like 800 to 1200, right? And then when it split, that's when I got it, and it went from like 118 to like 150 or 140. You know, so there's no reason not to take advantage of that kind of stuff, right? Short term. Long term, I'm a dividend stock guru, right? I like things that I know are not going out of business. Like waste management is not going out of business, period, right? Everyone produces trash. It's not going out of business. Now, they may have some problems, and that's fine. As long as they're paying that dividend, I don't care. But because they're going to be around forever, right? You know, barring some crazy mess, they're going to be around forever, right? A company like Johnson & Johnson, right? They started out selling Band-Aids, right, in the Civil War, right? They've been around forever, and they literally they basically buy businesses to go into their business, right? You know, unless they come up with some kind of thing that makes all of their products completely obsolete, they're gonna be giving their dividend every month, right? So if I can get them to go down from 162 down to 100 to buy, I'm gonna be buying more, 100%, right? So something like a Dell computer, right, or HP. New technology is just gonna go into their technology, right? Microsoft could be replaced. The Windows operating system could be replaced. Apple could be replaced, right? Most likely they have a big brand, but they still could be replaced. Nike can be replaced by some other brand. You know, Under Armour is a great example. Under Armour came up, rose up against Nike, and now they're sitting at like $6 a share, right? Basically a dead company because they put all their money into The Rock. I don't know why they went to $6 a share, but I mean, I do know, but they didn't continue. They kept going with their product instead of trying to make their product better, basically. So stuff like that, like that's what I'm investing in long term, right? Another one's Duke Energy. Talking about specific stocks here, but Duke Energy. Unless there's some kind of global, you have to put on solar panels on every house that's built now type deal, like Duke Energy is going to be doing great. They got nuclear power. Like, I mean, it's pretty much a done deal. You know, nuclear power is the most efficient power there is. So, basically, no matter what, you know, people are going to be living somewhere. They're going to be using power, making trash. Like, they're no-brainers as far as long-term investing, right? Whether it goes up or down, you don't care, right? So keep that in mind. Keep the fear-mongering out of your brain. Like, I like what Patrick Bet-David says about this. You know, 51% of me is like, the good times are coming, or whatever he says, and then 49% is the paranoid survive. The paranoid survive, right? So me being in the hurricane belt, I don't know what it's called, but North Carolina being, you know, hit by hurricanes, you know, we've always been prepared for any kind of situation, right? And that's just how I live my life. So you should do the same, right? So you have to figure out what prepared means for you. Definitely not borrowing against a 401k. Definitely not cashing out a pension plan. Definitely not, HELOC in my house, right? Your personal residence should be paid off, right? Every billionaire's personal residence is paid off. It's not leveraged. So keep that in mind. You might have leverage on all your rental properties, but your personal residence paid off. So keep that in mind. I'm Nate, a FitfutureMD. Hope this helped you out, guys. Don't fear when the market's going to crash, right? Be prepared, be ready, and let's make some money. You know, like, you should be excited right now that, hopefully this will end inflation, right? And we'll get some relief in groceries and, hopefully be good for the country in the end. This is capitalism. Eventually companies that are doing stupid stuff have to fail. And we're going to see about 300 to 600 banks go under for being stupid. And, hopefully we're better out the other side. I'm Nate, I'm the FitfutureMD. Shop at Ensorsale.com. Like, comment, and share the video with somebody that needs it. You got somebody that's freaking out, send them this video. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.